you ever speak to me like that again, better be wearing a cup.
Baby steps.
One break, I'm in
Okay, friends, let's everybody take your positions, please. Here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, rolling. Dave!
And
Dave!
Unchained.
welcome to Dave and Dave Unchained, a Van Halen podcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Dave.
And we are at episode 62, Dave. And I don't know if you know this, but this is a very special moment in time for the next 48 hours. You know what that means?
What does that mean?
That means for the next 48 hours, and this is only going to happen once in a lifetime, you and I are the physical embodiment of 5150.
Oh my God, you're right.
Isn't that crazy? Wow.
Brilliant observation. Holy cow.
And of course, I am going to wish you a happy belated birthday. Dave was 51 yesterday. He is born on Valentine's Day because he's a lover.
And I'm going to wish you an almost happy birthday.
That's right. That's right.
Because your birthday's coming up in a couple of days.
Yes, of course. And we are looking over the peak, Dave, and everything's in the rearview mirror at this point. So what can I say?
I don't know about you, brother. I'm looking forward.
Oh, I love the optimism.
Dave, when you get to be my age, you'll understand.
Oh, okay. I'm not there yet, but I think I'm going to have some sort of a clairvoyant breakthrough on Wednesday.
Right. There you go. Give it a couple of days.
Yeah, that's right. It'll all come into focus. Well, we have lots to get through, so we're going to move on to Van Halen news.
Van Halen.
News! Well, Mr. Wolf has dropped a lot of info, so there's a lot to get through. Wolf Van Halen, Wolfie Van Halen, Wolfgang Van Halen, whichever you choose to call him, he has unleashed some information about his album. So let's get into it. We are making progress. So this is all going to happen. Wolfgang Van Halen has announced the details of his debut album, which, number one, will be self-titled. Very much like Van Halen 1. It'll be Mammoth WVH. And that's the title of the album. It's just self-titled, like the first Van Halen album. The track listing has been announced, and I am happy to say it is chock full of 14 songs. So it's going to start with a song called Mr. Ed. Number 2 is Horribly Right. Number 3, Epiphany. Number 4, Don't Back Down. Number 5, Resolve. Number 6, You'll Be the One. Sounds a little like I'm the one, all right? Number 7, Mammoth. Obviously a Van Halen tie there. Number 8, Circles. Number 9, The Big Picture. Number 10, Think It Over. Number 11, You're to Blame. Number 12, Feel. Number 13, Stone. And 14, Dave, is the bonus track, Distance. What did I tell you? I think he's listening to the podcast. What do you think?
He's listening to somebody, that's for sure.
Well, I did call it out. Add it as a bonus.
No, you were right. You called it. I guess he took your advice.
That's right. And he is going to be releasing the album on June 11th. Pre-orders are now on sale at mammothwvh.com. And I suggest you guys sign up for the mailing list, because if you sign up for the mailing list, they give you all the details and they give you links to everything. So, now he's got several different versions here. Of course, he's got the CD, which is $12.98, and the limited edition signed copies are sold out already. There's also the digital for $9.99. The clear translucent vinyl for $31.99, and then they have the regular vinyl for $29.99, and it's a double album. I guess on vinyl it's considered a double album. As so many albums today would be double albums back in the day, but that's not the case. 14 songs is a nice chock full of songs, which is great, and we all know Wolf wrote them all, and he's performing everything on the album. And he released his second single, You're to Blame. Now, we heard this song when he was on the Howard Stern show. He debuted it on there. So that's his new single, which is a tremendous, tremendous song. And here's a clip. Another thing that Wolfie released is the cover of the album. Now, the cover is fantastic. It's a kind of a monster movie scene. It's a painting of a giant crab attacking a parking lot. However, here's the weird part, is the cover has been used already. The exact same cover is used by the band Violent Eve in their 2016 album, A Great Day. And it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter. So the question is, why? Why did this happen? Dave, what did you make of this?
Well, the first thing I thought was, it runs in the family, right? Because didn't we have this conversation about a different kind of truth?
Right, but Ed is not responsible for that. That was Dave's thing.
No, I know, but I'm just saying,
right.
It was, everyone was like, oh, the Commodores album.
Right.
And I was like, do you think they said, hey, that's a great cover,
Right.
Well, maybe David Lee Roth did, because he likes that kind of music. But anyway, I don't think it was done on purpose. But man, that's like a major oversight.
Huge.
Right? Then again, I've never heard of the band, but that does not mean anything. I'm lucky if I know any band after 1995. So looking to me for that kind of lens is not a good idea. So maybe they weren't that popular and nobody even knew about it. But yeah, you figure somebody would go out there and double check or know about it. I still love the album cover.
Yeah,
totally. But yeah, it's kind of like you can only imagine, you look hard for the perfect album cover. You find it. You're ready to release the album. And then boom, you're like, oh man, somebody else has it first. Ah, crap. C'est la vie. What are you going to do?
You kind of wonder if they knew. That's the difference, because here's the thing. You talked about the band. I don't know the band. Of course, they're not a big band. But the thing is that the internet, you know what I mean? It's not like 1980, that band is in Spain and, who in the States is going to, but with the internet, it's right on Spotify. It's right on iTunes. It's the exact same cover. Now, this is not like even a different kind of truth situation where the cover was very reminiscent. It wasn't literally the exact same cover, but it was the whole same design and concept. This is literally the exact same cover. The only difference is Violent Eve has their band logo on the bottom left-hand corner, whereas Mammoth WVH has their logo on the top right-hand corner. So, and it looks a little strange. The first thing you ask, I would imagine, if you get a cover like that or a painting, where has it been used? Because obviously he's using it on merch and all kinds of stuff, but I think it's too late now at this point because it's all over his merch, and I think everything's already printed up. It's already been on television and all over the place.
They've already paid for use of the painting. And
yeah, I'm sure they have.
You think they'd ask. Well, I don't know if you can ask, but you think they would ask, hey, listen, before we buy this from you, or before we lease the rights to use this painting, right? Has anybody else used this on an album artwork? Because we really don't want to be the second person to use it. We don't want sloppy seconds. Right. Now, I don't know if the artist is obligated to do that. Or maybe the artist went to another company and said, hey, yeah, you know what? Take my painting and give it out to anybody who wants it. I don't care. Take your fee. Lease it out to everybody. Don't care. That is how it worked. Maybe the leasing company or whatever you want to call it doesn't know or doesn't keep track. Who knows?
Yeah. The other strange thing is Violent Eve's album is not that old. It's a little strange. So, I don't know. I'm curious as to see the fallout from the whole thing. But, the album's cover's still great, and I think it works. However, I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be any feedback from that, or it'll just be whatever, or no one will care. Who knows? We'll have to see what happens.
I think it will draw more attention to the first band. They're probably like, yes!
Maybe you're right. So now we also want to mention that at Mammoth WVH, Wolf has unleashed some serious merch, man. There's all kinds of t-shirt designs, and there's even a hoodie, and plenty of stuff to check out. MammothWVH.com. So definitely want to check that out. And like I suggested, you should sign up for the notices. So if you give them their email address, they'll send you all kinds of notices as to what's happening with Wolf. Now, what's also interesting is they unleashed the back cover, which announces the track listing, but it has a very similar vibe to the Van Halen website homepage from 2007, if you guys remember this. The 4 squares with the drums, vocals, guitar, and bass. Did you recognize that, Dave, from the 2007 homepage?
No, I thought, and other people did too, it was a throwback to Van Halen's first album with each quadrant. Instead of each quadrant dedicated to a player, Wolf had each quadrant dedicated to an instrument he plays.
No, I understand that, but I sent you the picture of the homepage,
no,
right?
I got deja vu when you sent me the picture.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my initial thought.
Right.
Because I'm older than you and I forget things.
Right, of course. So. That few hours makes a big difference. So now listen, look, he did a great job releasing Distance. You're to Blame is a fantastic single. The cover looks great. The merch looks great. Everything is debuting really nicely. I'm curious as to see if we get a video for You're to Blame, and I was wondering if maybe that's what he was filming at 5150. I think we talked about that last time. But I want to note also that we saw Mammoth's first performance. He performed on Jimmy Kimmel Live on February 11th. Okay, so that's a full 4 months to the day before his album is released. But pre-orders are available, and the merch is available too. So that's a big announcement there, along with You're to Blame, which was released as well. And he might end up releasing even more music before June 11th, because that's the way albums are done these days, right? They release song by song by song, and by the time the album gets released, half the album's already out. It's really weird how they do that, but that's like a thing now. That's like a really big thing. Everybody does that.
Yeah, I guess there's some method behind the madness.
Yeah.
And like you said, he released You're to Blame.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that one doesn't seem like it's getting as much traction as his last
Well,
song
consider the situation. And the other one had...
Right. I understand why. I'm just saying it. Like the first one, tribute to Ed.
Right.
First song.
Also the timing of that one, too.
Right. And it came out of the gate. Booking, right?
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
So this one's not going to be as fast. But, I mean, we already heard this song on Howard Stern.
Right.
If you had seen that. And again, great song and definitely more representative, at least according to Wolf, of what the album will sound like.
Oh, totally.
So
I think that song's even better than this.
I hear you. I'm pumped. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And I know a few people are saying, I can't wait till June 11th.
Yeah.
And I know that's a little later than some people were thinking, but Wolf always said late spring. And, I mean, that's almost as late as you can get and still call it spring.
That's true. But I also think that it's part of a strategy. So what's going on, as everybody well knows, because everybody's in the pandemic just like we are, is that a lot of people who have albums being released, a lot of the record companies are telling people to push that date as late as you can get it, or as close as you can get it to summer. And what's going to happen is you're going to release it closer to when touring will resume. So for an album to come out on June 11th, let's just say, being positive, that touring resumes in like September or something, or maybe even late summer, like August or something like that. Well, June 11th is not that far away. Usually a tour will start a few months after an album comes out anyway. That's a little more of a normalcy. Whereas they didn't want it to be like, well, we released the album and then it's going to be 7 months before he actually hits the road. So I think that is sort of the thought process there. I know a lot of people are doing that, which, makes sense if you're in the touring business for sure. But that's coming up. And, well, he did his first performance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and he performed completely live. He played Distance, which is an interesting choice, but to be honest with you, I think the producers must have asked him to do that because of the whole Eddie tie-in, and it was already sort of a hit and stuff like that. Television does that. They want the most recognizable thing. However, the song You're to Blame dropped at the same time, so you think he would do the new single. I was a little surprised at that, but I guess Distance is probably, I don't know, more user-friendly, less rocky. It's highly emotional.
It's all that.
Yeah, it's all that.
And I would say, like, if he actually shows up on Saturday Night Live, for example, where he does 2 songs, I mean, you know what 2 songs he's doing, right?
You think he's going to do You're to Blame and Distance?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, if he was going to show up in a week or two, for example, I would